Amazing. Yay, I think we're live everywhere. Amazing. It has taken me so long to get set up today, and all of my entire setup fell, and then my little iPad wasn't charging, and then it was a whole thing. Literally my entire setup fell over like 5 minutes ago. I was like, oh my god, I have to pick everything back up. Anyways, you can't see behind the cameras and stuff, but it's a little bit of a shit show back there, but it's okay because we are live now and we're doing the thing. Welcome to Mega Money Tuesday. I'm gonna apologize in advance, guys. I am so sick. And I don't know if anybody watching this is a parent or has kids in daycare or has had kids in daycare, but ever since we sent Liam to daycare, I have been sick. He is bringing home all of the little germs, and I've literally been sick for like 6 months, and I feel like I can't hear myself speak right now. So it's a thing, but I am here. This is Mega Money Tuesday, formerly known as Mega Money Monday. We are switching it to Mega Money Tuesdays, where I will go live on the first Tuesday of every month on all of the platforms. So we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have TikTok here. And what I want to do is provide you guys with some free money coaching, want to answer some of your most burning money questions, and just get you all the support. So if you are not yet, make sure that you are in our free Facebook group. So it's called Master Your Money and Build a Bank Account That Never Stops Growing. It's incredible. There's over 50,000 of you in there now. It's so amazing. It's such an incredible community of badass babes who are getting their financial shit together. Everybody is super supportive. Everybody is helpful. And it's just such a really it's just such a good energy. And if it's ever not a good energy, we just kick those people out. Those people just have to go. I am not about the bullshit. If you are generally being rude, unkind, hateful, or just like an asshole, you are just gone. That's it. But for the most part, everybody is incredible. So excited to have all of you guys here today. Let's see here. Christy, Melissa, Raul, Paula, hello, Samantha, hello. School is the same. Oh my god, don't tell me that. I literally have been sick forever. I think because of my autoimmune condition, my immune system, it doesn't function properly. And I am just I've been so sick for so long. Don't tell me that. Amazing. Brittany, Deanna, Nikki, amazing. Hello. Okay, so excited to have all of you guys here. I wanted to talk a little bit about first, kind of my autoimmune condition, because I know you guys had so many questions. So I had posted that my autoimmune condition was flaring. I was asking for some help from you guys. I was like, hey, I know all the things that I typically do, but do you guys have any recommendations that I maybe didn't think of before? And I know this isn't technically money related, but so many of you had asked me if I could share the results, and I really want to make sure that I am here supporting and helping everybody as much as possible. So I'm going to share that with you, and then we're going to get right into it. So if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat boxes there. If you guys are watching on TikTok, you can head over to Instagram if you have any questions and drop them in the chat box there as well. And I will get back to as many as I can right now. So let's get into it, guys. Why am I so passionate about there being another way to live life, okay? And not taking conventional wisdom at face value, all right? So if you have been following me for a while, then you know I was $40,000 in debt. I had $0 in savings. I did what I was supposed to do, right? I did what I was supposed to do, but I was still stuck. I did the thing that probably most of you guys did, where you went to school, you went to college, you went to university, you took on massive student loans, and you're like, hey, but this is gonna get me where I wanna be. This is gonna get me all of the things. This is gonna get me to wealth and happiness and success. So it's okay. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take on these student loans. I'm gonna put myself through school because when I come out on the other side, I'm gonna have everything that I always wanted. So I did all of that. And then I didn't. I didn't have everything that I always wanted. I was still like, well, I feel like I can't afford a wedding. I can't afford a house. I don't know how people are feeling financially stable enough to have kids. I was like, I don't understand how I'm going to be able to do any of the things that I actually want to do in life. So I had to take a step back, and I was like, there has to be another way to do things. Okay, there has to be another way to do things. While all of this was going on, though, what you guys probably don't know is that I was very, very sick. Okay, I was in excruciating pain all the time. I literally used to just like fall on the ground. I have Crohn's, for anybody wondering. And for context, people have compared Crohn's pain to like pregnancy pain, like labor pain. It gets really intense sometimes. I was dealing with extreme fatigue, brain fog, internal bleeding, you know, suffering from anxiety and depression. I got diagnosed, well, not diagnosed formally, but, you know, with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, there was a lot of shit going on, in addition to like all of the other things of life, right? And like, life is hard, and when it rains, it frickin' pours sometimes, right? Everything I ate made me sick. So I basically just stopped eating. I lost a ton of weight. Like, it wasn't a good time. And when I went to the doctors, they dismissed me. They dismissed me every time. They told me everything was fine. They told me just not to eat chocolate. And like, that was going to be the solution. No, just don't eat chocolate. Just like, don't drink alcohol. That's what the problem is. And then everything will be okay. Even though they didn't actually give me all of the tests to try to figure out what was actually wrong with me. I was in and out of the hospital, like in so much pain to the point where like they thought my appendix was bursting, but then they'd be like, oh, okay, no, it's not, so you're fine, just go home. It was really, really crazy. And then when I was on vacation though, so I had all of these symptoms at home. I was always super sick. I was literally curled up in a ball crying on the floor most days, okay, in so much freaking pain. But the crazy thing is, when I went on vacation, we loved going to Mexico, like pre-COVID. I love Mexico so much, and we would always go there a few times a year. My symptoms would magically disappear, okay? My symptoms would magically disappear, and I became obsessed with the idea that there was like a pesticide or something that they were using here that was making me sick. I'm like, oh, it's like the food in Mexico. The food in Mexico is so much healthier. It's like so much more natural, and like that's why I'm not getting sick there. And while that may be part of it, when I dug deeper, I realized the main reason that I wasn't sick when I was in Mexico, but I was deathly sick when I was here, is that I prioritized myself when I was away. So when I went away, I was eating well. I was sleeping well. I was relaxing. I had time in the sun. I got to exercise. I had no stress, okay? And over time, it became very apparent to me that the way that we've been told to live our lives is actually making a lot of us sick. Okay, it's making a lot of us sick. And when I finally got my diagnosis, 10 years later, I just happened to get super lucky going into emergency and got a doctor that actually gave a shit. Their suggestion was to put me on immunosuppressive medication, which would basically make my body have no immune system, because when you have an autoimmune condition, your immune system like attacks your own body. So instead of figuring out why my immune system was, you know, attacking my body, these doctors just wanted to knock out my immune system altogether. And when I joined support groups for people like me who had the same autoimmune condition that I did, it didn't really even seem like this medication was helping anyone. Maybe it was, like, so to speak, in certain ways. However, they seemed to just be getting sicker and sicker. Like, nobody was like better, right? And I decided that I wanted to find another way and take control of my life and my future. So it's kind of the same way that I did with my money, I wanted to do with my health as well. I knew that I could maybe learn to live life in a different way, and I could actually feel better, because I experienced that when I was on vacation in Mexico. So I knew that if I wanted to get to this dream life where I could reach my goals and not have to be sick all the time anymore, I needed to figure everything else out. So I wanted to be able to live life on my own terms. I wanted to be able to manage my stress. I wanted to have more free time to spend on things that I loved. I just really, ultimately, at the end of the day, wanted to be freaking happy. And I had to discover what happiness meant to me. And then I realized that money really is the tool to help me buy that happiness. Now, money in itself isn't going to buy you happiness, but money can buy you safety, security, freedom, which then in turn can provide you with that happiness. Because money isn't happiness, but money is a tool, right? And I guess for me, even seeing kind of like my medical history, my dad's medical history, I kind of just have like a general disdain for how traditional systems work and run, like the medical system, the financial system, the education system. And I feel like in a lot of ways, they're actually really, really flawed. So my dad actually had cancer for 7 years and was completely misdiagnosed. It's a little bit of a long story, but just to give you guys kind of a general overview, his whole side of his face went paralyzed, and he went to the emergency room, and they're like, oh, it's just Bell's palsy. You don't have to, it's not a stroke or anything, just like follow up with your family doctor. And my family doctor told him that, yeah, it's just Bell's palsy. And my dad was like, well, I'm in excruciating pain. So he's like, okay, here's some morphine. Like, just take some morphine. Here you go. This is going to fix everything for you. And then so for 7 years, my dad just, his face was paralyzed. He took this morphine. And my doctor went on vacation and he ran out of morphine. So my dad went to the hospital and was like, look, I'm in excruciating pain. I have Bell's palsy. And they're like, well, Bell's palsy doesn't cause pain. So like looking at him like he's like a drug addict or something. So they're like, let us run some tests. So they run all of these tests and they find out it actually has this really rare form of cancer growing in the nerve behind his ear. And thankfully this, don't ask me what it's called because it's like some really long name, but thankfully this form of cancer is like really slow growing. So he was still okay, and he was, he is okay now. He had radiation, all of the things. But for 7 years, he didn't actually receive a diagnosis. He was just kind of fluffed off, and it was like, okay, they just went through like a checklist and they're like, check, 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 check. Here you go, and push you out the door. So again, I have a general disdain for how traditional systems are run, and I think that we can do a lot better of a job in so many areas, especially personal finance, okay? I feel like the medical system treats the symptom and not the cause. I feel like the financial system and budgeting do the same thing. They use Band-Aid approaches, okay? The education system fails to help us learn the life skills that truly matter in life, like personal finance, mental health, nutrition. And this is what I am here to do, okay? I am here to help you guys learn a different way, a better way, a way that will actually help you make a long-term difference in your life without shame or blame. So you can have your happiness, right? You can have your happiness, whatever that means to you. So before we get into answering some questions for today on money, I know there had been a lot of you asking what I do to help heal my autoimmune condition when I'm in a flare. So to preface this, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. Please do your own research, okay? This is just a starting point for you, but hopefully this helps at least one person. So there have been a few things that contribute to my condition and my flares. Stress, when I was on birth control, that was a big thing. Past trauma, not eating right, not exercising, okay? Not sleeping properly. So how I overcome those is, not taking hormonal birth control anymore. I did lots of reading on like philosophy and the meaning of life and the meaning of happiness. Like I kind of call it, when I turned 25, like I had this like existential crisis where I was like, but why are we here? What does this mean? What's the point? So got really big into like philosophy and the meaning of happiness, meaning of life, all of that stuff. So I got really clear about what I wanted and what I what would make me really happy, what would make this life all kind of worth it for me. Another thing that helped was working through my CPTSD, so my post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety and depression, like those can play a big role in so many other conditions, okay? So definitely mental health is something that you need to be looking at. I follow an autoimmune paleo diet, so I mean, most of the time when I don't follow that, that's typically when I start to flare. However, it's very restrictive, so it does suck sometimes, I'm gonna be completely honest. Basically, you are eating just like meat and fruit and vegetables, which is like super healthy for you, but I really miss like cheese and pasta. However, it does help me feel better, so it's good. I take probiotics. The ones that I take are called VisiBiome. They're a little bit expensive, but they're for people with autoimmune conditions, and they have helped me immensely. Pre-COVID, I loved hot yoga, just like something about going in and really focusing on my body and movement and like sweating it all out and not thinking about the outside world and just really focusing on that. That was super helpful for me as well. Now I just really love doing like yoga and Pilates. So now my opinion is just like with Western medicine, There is a lot of misinformation and conventional wisdom in the personal finance industry that does nothing more than keep you stuck, broke, and stressed. Okay, so I'm here to show you how to win with money without a budget and without any of that outdated bullshit. All right, no matter where you are right now, I want to show you how you too can be successful with money. Again, so money is a skill. Money is a skill. Money is a tool. One thing that I want to make so freaking clear right now, guys, is that no one is born knowing anything. Okay? If you have ever seen a newborn, they can't even hold up their head. Okay? They don't even know how to hold up your head. You have to teach them how to hold up their head. So if you don't know about money, that means you weren't taught about money. That's not your fault. So no shame, no blame. Okay? No shame, no blame. If you weren't taught about money, that's not your fault. However, now, as an adult, it is your responsibility to learn, right? We're gonna learn, we're gonna develop that skill. Again, there's no shame here, there's no blame here. There's just us choosing to be the highest and best version of ourselves 80% of the time because we are freaking human, okay? So we can go out there and we can hit all of the goals. Money isn't everything, but everything takes money. Money isn't happiness, but lack of money definitely is unhappiness. All right, so if you are just getting started here, if you are new here, we have a variety of free resources to help you out. First thing, every Tuesday I go live, the first Tuesday of every month. The first Tuesday of every month, I go live for Mega Money Tuesdays, okay, to answer your most burning money questions. That's what I am doing here right now. These episodes are saved as IGTVs. They're also saved in our Facebook group. There are hours and hours and hours of free content, so I highly recommend going back and watching some of them if you have not before. Our social accounts on TikTok and Instagram are always amazing. They're the shit. We post amazing content. If you guys don't watch my Instagram stories, you are missing out. I do trainings on there all the time. Sometimes I save them to the story highlights on Instagram, so that's another really great place to go and get started as well with some more information. We have 3 free courses and an ebook, okay? Broke to Ballin', 30 days to 100K, and How the Rich Get Rich. And then we have a free ebook as well called the Make Money Moves Method. Those are all available on our website under freebies. There's hours and hours and hours of free training and content. There's like worksheets, like all of the things, okay? All of the freaking things to help you get started. My business coach before, when I started putting out all these freebies, she's like, are you freaking crazy? Why are you giving this all away for free? And I'm like, because I want to meet people where they're at. So like, yes, I have a business. Yes, the point of business is to turn a profit, but it's also to serve, right? I want to serve this community. I want to help you guys get where you're going. Whether or not that's with me, whether or not you choose to do one of our paid programs after, that's up to you. But what I want to do is help give you that foundation and help you get started, okay? I want to help give you a starting point. We have a community of over 50,000 people on Facebook, as I was saying before, where you can network, right? Because if you are surrounded by people who are doing the same thing that you're doing, who are going after the same goals that you're going after, you are going to be so much more likely to continue towards those goals and to actually achieve those goals. I'm not making this up, this is science, okay? So join the Facebook group, network with the other babes in the group, like immerse yourself, okay? Who we surround ourselves with becomes what we're able to do, okay? So your network becomes your net worth. So let's network with all of these incredible people in this community. For those of you who want to look up the Facebook group, it's called Master Your Money and Build a Bank Account That Never Stops Growing. Suffice it to say, I put out an insane amount of free content to help you get started. So for those of you who have consumed all of the free content and you're looking to keep leveling up, we have a variety of paid resources, programs, and coaching to help you get started, okay? We have ebooks, we have self-study courses, we have coaching programs where you get to work with myself and the team personally. Depending on where you're at, I'm going to talk a little bit about the 2 coaching programs and then we'll get into all of the questions. So we have a level 1 program and then like a level 2 program. Level 1 is for people who want to learn like the basics, right? We are starting out. We're like, okay, I need to master my money, but I don't know what to do. I got student loans. I want to learn how to pay off debt. Maybe I have some credit card debt. I want to learn how to save more without changing my lifestyle. I want to feel confident with my money. this might be the program for you. So it's 3 months with myself and the team personally, and you get to learn the exact process I used to pay off $40,000 of debt in 18 months and build a $500,000 net worth in my 20s that has now grown to over $1 million at 30 years old. This program is called Make Money Moves Method. So you can find this on our website under Work with Nicole. Level 2 is the step up from there, okay? This is for people who have already grown a savings account. You've grown a savings account, you don't have any high interest debt, and you're just looking for ways to continue growing your streams of income because you understand the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So you're like, okay, I got 1 stream of income, I got my 9-to-5 job. Maybe you're interested in building on a side hustle. Maybe you're interested in real estate or real estate investing. I'm also a registered real estate broker for anybody wondering. Maybe you're interested in mortgage investment corporations, private lending, REITs, stock market, whatever it is, okay? We go through all of that and we help you explore how to start adding these streams of income into your life so that you can hit that next financial level. This is a newer program, but we've had incredible results with the students who have gone through. So again, you can find out more information about those programs on our website under Work with Nicole. That said, I just talked a lot. Thank you all for staying with me. Let's get back to why we are here today for Mega Money Tuesday. So for Mega Money Tuesdays, I have pulled some questions from our community, but I will try to get to as many as I can live. So if you guys have questions, now is the time to put them in. I'm going to start off with what I have here. First thing would be, a lot of people are asking me, Nicole, what are examples of investments? You talk about growing your money. You talk about getting your money working harder than you do. What are some examples of ways to do that? Okay. The really easy way, like the most simple way to start making some more money or to have your money working for you instead of just wasting away in a savings account is opening up a high yield savings account. Okay, it is so freaking easy. I use EQ Bank in Canada. I make about $100 a month off of my high yield savings account. Now this is because I have a 12-month emergency fund in there and I also keep my short-term savings goals in there as well. But this is like the easiest way to fight inflation. It's the exact same thing as a regular savings account, except you just get paid more money, okay? So instead of leaving your money in a regular savings account at your bank and then also tempting yourself to keep transferring it back over, you know, you put some money in savings and you're like, oh, my checkings account's looking a little small and I wanted to go for brunch, so I'm gonna move money from my savings to my checking. This will help you stop doing that too. So we want to also, when we're going after any of our financial goals, one of the things we always want to be doing is looking at ways that we might self-sabotage and get in our own damn way. And then how do we avoid that? Because the people that end up winning are the predictors, okay? They predict if and when they're going to fuck up. If and when they're going to get in their own way and they're going to be like, damn, I wish I didn't do that. So we want to be thinking, how could I get in my own way? You could get in your own way if you're one of those people that's always transferring the money out of your savings account back into your checking account. A really easy way to get out of your own way is to take that money out of your savings account, put it in a high yield savings account at another bank that takes 2 to 5 days to transfer the money back to you. So you have that buffer. You have that buffer whereby there's going to be a couple of days time before you can access those funds. And that might help you think a little bit longer and a little bit harder on if you really want to spend that money or not. Some other really easy ways to get started investing would be the stock market. I promise you guys, it is so much easier than you think. It does not need to be complicated. The only thing is, the caveat that I will say to that is you need to make sure that you understand market psychology and then just like have the right strategy, okay? Setting yourself up for success. It's very easy, but you still have to take the time to learn. So you can read books, you can listen to podcasts, you can go on YouTube and learn. You can take some of our free programs, we go over some basics there. You can do a paid program. Whatever it is, okay, it's either gonna take time or money for you to learn, but that's okay because it's a return on your investment that you're looking for. My goal with all of our programs is for you to make the investment back that you make into our programs thousands of times over in your lifetime using the tips and the tools and the strategies that we teach you, okay? So again, even if it's not with me, investing is not like, oh, maybe I'll start investing or maybe I'll look at that later. No, you have to invest. The average American is said to make $1.6 million in their lifetime, but needs $1.7 million to retire. Think about those numbers for a second. Even if you saved every dollar you ever made, it wouldn't be enough. Okay, I mean, you can't save every dollar you ever made, but even if you could, it wouldn't be enough. Okay, this is why we have to invest. We have to get our money working for us. Because if we always trade time for money, our hours for dollars, there will always be a limit to how much money we can actually make. When we get our money working for us, that's when we can hit those different levels of wealth. So like when I say now, like, okay, well, I have $1 million net worth at 30 years old. People are like, how did you earn $1 million by 30? That's not what that means. That means my assets have grown to $1 million. That means my money has worked for me. You don't earn $1 million, you grow $1 million through stocks, real estate, like other investments, that kind of thing, guys, okay? And this is a huge change in the way that a lot of us have been taught to think about money. Because for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are in the same position, like I grew up in a like lower middle class household. The way that you like get ahead is by working more, right? For a long time, I was like, hey, I just have to get a second job. I'd like work more hours. I'd get a second job. I can't tell you, I had 3 jobs at one point, right? I was like, hey, this is how you get ahead. You just have to work more. You have to trade more of your time for money, and you just have to like save it and like stockpile those savings. That's not the way to do it, right? You will never get ahead. You will never really get ahead by doing that, okay? Let me go back. The top of the income funnel, okay, is active income. And that is money that we are trading our time for, hours of our lives for. We have to start there. Yes, 100%. We have to start there. We have to have that active income that we are working for, okay, that we are trading our time for money for. But then once we get that active income, we need to pull it down and start building out those other passive income streams, okay? If you only ever focus up here, there will be a limit to how much you can make, and there will be a limit to how much you can do in your lifetime with money, with your finances, okay? So again, the easiest way is high yield savings account. That's not going to grow your money, but it's, you know, it's a good way to start. The stock market, okay? It is so easy. Guys, you can get started with $5 if you wanted to. Somebody had asked, how much do you need to start investing? How do you start when you're broke? Guys, you can get started with $5 if you wanted to. You can get started with $5 if you wanted to. Investing is not for the rich. It's how you get rich. Investing is how you build your wealth. The way that the middle class does it is they work for their money and then they spend their money on the shit that they want. Okay? They spend their money on the houses and the cars and the clothes and the whatever. The way that the rich do it is they work for their money. Someone at some point in their family has worked for the money, and then they pull that money down into investments, into business, into real estate, into stocks, into private lending, whatever it is, and they create those multiple streams of income. And they keep putting that money into these investments. Instead of buying shit, they're buying the investments, and they're doing that until they get to a point where those investments make so much money that they no longer have to work. Okay, they no longer have to work for money. And this was the biggest mindset shift for me. And this is what took me from being stuck with money to being able to really start excelling. Okay, people are like, oh, you're a millionaire and you drive a Kia or blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm sure if I was a millionaire, I'd have a better house than that. Guys, if I spent all my money, I wouldn't be a millionaire. That's not the fucking point, right? The point is not to accumulate a bunch of money and then just buy a bunch of shit. The point is to get the money, build the investments, and then use those investments to buy my life back. So think of it this way. Whether you like it or not, from the time that you're 20 until you're 65, your life has been sold to the economy. 45 years of your life have been sold to the economy. You need to be a productive member of society, selling your time for money, okay? What we don't realize is that when we save and invest our money, we can buy some of that time back, okay? So instead of working until we're 65, maybe we work till we're 50, maybe 40, maybe in our 30s. And I know a lot of you are like, hey, that's not possible. I want you to go after this and Google the FIRE movement and see how many people, okay, that are just regular everyday people, teachers, plumbers, whatever, who are retiring in their 30s, not because they made $1 million, but because they learned how to grow $1 million, okay? They lived frugally, right? They spent on things that brought them joy. They spent on things that brought them true happiness, but they didn't fall prey to consumerism. They didn't fall prey to lifestyle creep or lifestyle inflation. And they spent their money on things that brought them true happiness and then bought their lives back. Okay, retirement is not an age. It's a number in the bank. And that's something that I want you guys to remember. If we hit that number, whenever we hit that number, we don't have to work anymore. Okay, and not saying that like work is the enemy, but how different would it be to choose to work? How different would it be to do something not for the money? How many of you guys are in jobs that you don't actually love, but you're doing it for the money? Okay, jobs that maybe stress you the fuck out, jobs that you are working at and you're working so hard at and you're feeling like it's thankless, and maybe in your head, you're like, man, I would love to like, I don't know, like for me, I was always like, I would love to just be like a hairstylist. I love doing hair. I love like makeup and cosmetics and all of those things. And I was like, I'd love to do that. However, I was making really great money in real estate. And I was like, I don't know if I could replicate this in, you know, doing hair or anything like that. So I was like, I feel like I have to do this forever. I felt like I was stuck. You're like, you know, it's like the golden handcuffs or whatever. But it's true, and there are so many of us, and it doesn't even have to be anything crazy like that. And the thing is, when we learn how to get our money working harder than we do, it opens up doors, it opens up possibilities, it gives us that freedom. Maybe you keep working that job, that's okay too. But having the choice is, it's so freeing. Having the choice to work is just like, it's so different than anything that we've ever been taught or anything that I ever had been taught. No, as you hairstylist crack, no. Maybe that was a bad example. I'm sorry, honey. It's just, you know what I mean? Or even like, I don't know, if you're going to be like a dog groomer or something, or a dog walker, something that really just brought you joy, something that I really want to do is maybe like teach Pilates part-time. Once I reach financial independence, I would love to like teach Pilates part-time, right? Maybe I'm not going to make as much money teaching Pilates part-time, but it's not about the money. It's about doing something that like lights my fire and lights my soul up, right? And being able to choose, having that freedom to choose. I went on a little bit of a rant, so I'm just gonna go back up here and see if there were any questions. Curious how to do this but on a limited income, and most of your income goes to fixed costs. Okay, so 2 things. Number 1, there is a difference between living paycheck to paycheck and being broke and living in poverty, okay? I think the numbers are 40% of 6-figure earners live paycheck to paycheck. 40% of 6-figure earners live paycheck to paycheck. That means that they feel like they're broke. They're like, holy shit, I'm broke, I have no money. So the first thing that you need to do if you feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck is understand that sometimes it's something external, okay? Sometimes it is out of our control, but sometimes it's something we're not realizing that we're doing. So we need to take an audit on our lives and see where we actually are, right? Are we buying things in the name of happiness that are actually just bringing us further from our goal? And this is an example I use all the time. And I see this literally all the time with our students, okay? So someone will come into the program and they're like, no, Nicole, you know, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I really want to be able to buy a house. I don't know how I'm ever going to be able to do that. And we go through their finances and they go through the modules and they start doing all the learnings and they're like, holy shit, I'm saving so much money and I didn't even realize that this was possible. And yes, you know, there are strategies like negotiation and increasing your salary and all of those things. However, a lot of it comes from the mindset portion and the mindset shift and understanding that there's a different way to do things and kind of like deprogramming your mind, because a lot of times we are buying things not because we need them, but because they are filling a void, a perceived societal void, an emotional void. They're making us feel more beautiful, more successful, whatever, and they're helping us show the world that that's who we are. And when we really get clear about what we want in life, what our values are, what our goals are, it becomes really easy to change your spending, even when it might not feel like that right now. So the first thing that I would say is you really want to take an audit on your life and ask yourself, truly, truly, you are where you're at because there's no other way for you, okay? Which I think is like 1% of cases. Or how could you do something differently, right? And taking the words I can't out of your vocabulary and replacing that with how can I? I am successful today, not because I'm better or smarter or any. I got gritty, guys. I got really fucking gritty. I had that growth mindset. I was like, hey, if I get myself into a situation where I don't know how I'm gonna get out of it, right? Or it's a shitty situation or something shitty happens to me, instead of folding in and being like, I can't, I'm gonna say, how can I? And I'm going to look at every challenge as an opportunity to learn something new or to grow, to challenge myself. Just because I don't see the solution right now doesn't mean there's not a solution. It just means I don't see it right now, okay? Some tangible tips for you though, okay, once you've done all of that kind of mindset stuff and that back end stuff. And PS guys, if you want help with like that back end mindset, like am I doing what I should be doing? I'm not sure. Check out our freebie called From Broke to Ballin'. The link is in our bio and Instagram, TikTok. It's incredible. It is the exact 5-step process that I used to go from $40,000 in debt to building a $500,000 net worth in my 20s. It's incredible, absolutely free, and it goes through a lot of this stuff. So it goes through mindset, self-sabotage, goal setting, all of that kind of stuff. So highly, highly recommend it if you guys have not checked that out yet. Some tangible tips for you though. Number one would be, what was I gonna say? Oh, negotiating your bills. Okay, negotiation is like my favorite way to save money. Why? Because we get to put more money back in our pockets without changing our lifestyle. We still get to have all of the same things, but we just pay less for them. That is magical. That is magical. We actually have a freebie that talks about how to get started doing this as well. If you go onto our website under freebies, there is one called 30 Days to 100K, and the first module, like the first video, is all on negotiating your bills. So if you have not taken that yet, the students coming through there are saving thousands of dollars, and it's absolutely free, so make sure you go and take that. So tangible tip number one is go and start negotiating your bills. Tangible tip number two, look at increasing how much money you're making. Maybe that's through a side hustle, maybe that's through working more hours, whatever it is. Or maybe it's something as simple as negotiating a raise. Maybe it's something as simple as getting the same job that you have right now at a different company. Guys, did you realize that most companies have a bigger budget for hiring new employees than they do to retain old ones in terms of raises and salary increases? Okay, this is because they need to entice, right? They need to entice talent to come over, so they typically pay them more. I can't tell you how many times I have been told when I worked corporate, like, oh, the best way to make more money is to leave, go work at our competitor across the street for like a year, come back, you can come back into the same role, but make like $20,000 a year more, okay? And it's not because of the different experience, it's because they're treating you as a new hire, a new employee. And you would have made more money across the street and then made more money again when you came back. So it really can be that simple. So again, guys, remember asking, how can I? How can I? Those 3 words will change your freaking life, I promise. Okay, let me just take a look here. Were there any other questions up at the top that I missed? I don't think so. Which one is better, Bitcoin versus stocks versus government bonds? I don't invest in cryptocurrency at all. I believe, not that I don't believe in like the concept of it, because I do think that the concept is really cool. However, do I believe personally that the governments will allow it to thrive? No. It's a non-productive asset. It has no value other than the fact that somebody says it has value. So in the future, if somebody says, no, it doesn't have value, or somebody doesn't want to pay more for it than what you paid for it today, then you're SOL. So for me, the way that I teach investing, the way that I invest is rule number 1 is don't lose money. I don't want to lose money. I work hard for my money. I don't want to lose any of it. So I want to put it in places where it's not going to be lost, and I know that it will just grow. So no Bitcoin, stocks versus bonds, 2 different things. Bonds are referred to as fixed income because you know exactly how much you're going to make. There's lower risk, but remember, Low risk, low reward, okay? I think that I don't actually have any bonds in my portfolio at all right now, but I think I may when I have another investment that I'm making, so I think I may be putting some bonds into my portfolio at that time because I have a different goal. But how many bonds versus stocks you own depends not on like what you like, it depends on your goals, your timeline, and your tolerance to risk. So you need to understand all of those things and work backwards to understand where you should be putting your money, how you should be distributing it, what your portfolio actually looks like. And when I say portfolio, I literally just mean like all of your investments. That's just called like a portfolio. Okay. Guys, I know that cryptocurrency sounds like super sexy, but if you are not somebody who likes to gamble, who likes to go to the casino or anything like that, like, I wouldn't say do it. If you are somebody who's like, I would go to the casino with $100, I throw it down on black, I put in the slot machines, and I have a really good time, sure, we're all stuck in our house, you know, maybe you put some money into cryptocurrency and you ride the wave and you have some fun with it. You put the same money that you would put into the casino into there. Sure. Would I tell you that you should go and put your life savings or your retirement savings or anything like that into crypto? Please do not do that. Please do not do that. And I'm actually going to stop saying that word because I'm worried that the TikTok algorithm is going to like shut me down or something. How about NFTs? It's the same thing. It's a non-productive asset. It only has value because somebody else says it has value. As soon as somebody else says no, I don't believe you, or like China, how they made everything, all of the cryptocurrency transactions illegal. Like, guys, they're the government. They put us in our house for like 2 years. Like, they can do whatever they want. I wouldn't do that personally. If you want to do it, hey, that's completely up to you. That's not something that I would do because I don't want to risk losing my money. Sophia says, no idea where to start or how to start buying a home or condo. Rent is draining my pockets. Same kind of situation here, honey. What I would say is going back and seeing why are we in this situation, taking like a serious audit, and then getting really serious about what your goal is. A lot of times our goals are so wishy-washy, and that's why we're not able to achieve them. How many of you guys have a goal of buying a home? Okay, or how many of you guys have a goal of saving money? So many of you will be like, Nicole, I want to save more money. That's my goal. That's not a goal. How much money? For what? When do you want it? How are you going to get there? How are you going to have these savings? Right? We need to get really freaking specific. And these wishy-washy goals, this lack of specificity, is the reason why we're stuck, is the reason why we have no problem getting in our own damn way, because we don't believe that we're actually going to achieve this goal anyways. Because how many years have you been telling yourself that you're going to save more? How many years have you been telling yourself that you're going to save more? Okay, does it happen? No, because you don't have a plan. And I'm going to sound like a weird old white dad at a barbecue flipping burgers, but like, fail to plan and plan to fail. I was like, am I saying that right? Fail to plan and plan to fail. Fail to plan and plan to fail. Okay, we need to have, I'm like the biggest on plans, and my husband laughs at me all the time. He thinks I'm so friggin' intense, but I promise you, this is why I have found my success, because I have a freaking plan. I know what I'm doing, and I know why I'm doing it. One of my like worst fears is like, I'm like, okay, what if I end up like 5 or 10 years from now, and I'm like, oh shit, I wish I was here, but I needed to do X, Y, Z like 2 years ago to set myself up for that success today, and I didn't do it. Now my goals, my timeline, like it's all off. No, the best thing, guys, get really crystal clear about who you are. Not even who you are, because who you are doesn't fucking matter. Who do you want to be? Get really crystal clear about who you want to be. Figure out how to be them. Figure out what your goals are. What does your dream life look like? What do you actually value? And then start putting a plan in place and working towards that. This is exactly what we do in our 3-month program. If you guys have not checked out our student success stories on our website, like, go and do that. If you are feeling stuck right now and you're like, oh, I always think that, you know, it's not possible for me, blah, blah, blah. well, we have helped so many people in so many situations, and I know you probably think your situation is unique, but I promise you it is not as unique as you think, and there are so many other people who have been in a similar situation to you who have figured it out. It's not impossible. It just means you haven't figured it out yet, right? And that's like exciting. It's like a game of mental chess. It's like, yeah, how can I get there? What can I do to give myself that dream life? Because it is possible for you guys. We got to get out of that fixed mindset and into that growth mindset, okay? Into that growth mindset that says, how can I? Who knows who I can be with the right timeline, passion, knowledge, energy, and grit. So if you haven't yet, go and check out our website under Student Success Stories. There are like pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of people who went through our program who literally were like, had so much success. So they're like, Nicole, here's my photo. Here's my information. Put this on your website because I'm so proud of myself, okay? Because they changed their whole lives. And I want you to use these as inspiration, right? And now we're not going to look at people who have what we want and be jealous. We're going to look at people who have what we want and say, if they've done it, that in and of itself says that it is possible. If it has been done before, that means it is possible, okay? So we're going to look at those people not as an exception, but as the rule for what is possible if we go out there and figure out how to get it done, okay? So number one, Sophia, figure out what your goal really is. Get really freaking clear. Turn it into a SMART goal. What's your timeline? What's your timeline? How are you going to get there? Right? Using some of those tips and those tools that I talked about before, taking some of our freebies, right? We can come back here and you can show up back to the next Mega Money Tuesday and you can be like, okay, Nicole, but how do I do this? Great, but what action did you take? Right? What action did you take? Because taking all of this in, learning all of these things is not going to get you anywhere if you don't actually start implementing it into your life. So this is me calling you out on your bullshit with love, okay? Saying that I want you to take some sort of action today. If you are watching this and you have a goal, I want you, when we're done this live, to write down your goal and then turn it into a SMART goal. No more wishy-washy goals, no more bullshit like I want to save money, I want to buy a house. When? How much? What house? Where do you want to fucking live? What does the house look like? Put it on paper and start working backwards. How are you going to get there? For your example of a house, what's the average price of a home in your area? What's the minimum down payment that you need? Okay? What's the timeline that you want to buy that in? Start working backwards. Get all of that information. Start working backwards. Start crafting your plan to success. Until we get into those nitty-gritty details, we will continue to stay stuck. I'm going to jump off very soon because I have an appointment and oh my God, my throat is killing me and I have a coaching call tonight. But I will answer another question or two if I see it. What is the most common side hustle you see amongst people you've worked with? I wouldn't say that there's a common side hustle, and I want to debunk like a myth right now. So a lot of people believe that to start a side hustle, you need to start like this huge business. You need to learn like how to drop ship. You need to learn how to like Airbnb arbitrage. Like I know you guys see that stuff all over TikTok. Like this is the way that you make money. You gotta like do all of these, like you gotta become a social media manager or whatever it is, okay? You're seeing all of these people and you're seeing these things and you're seeing them repeated and you're like, this has to be the way. I have to learn all these things. I will tell you that the best side hustle is probably the one that you already have the knowledge for, okay? You don't have to have all of it, but most of the knowledge, okay? And that you already have the assets for. So what I want you to do is go back, if you're thinking about starting a side hustle, go back and take an inventory of your current assets, your knowledge, and your physical assets. Maybe, like we have someone in our income multiplier program right now, and she's a teacher. It just makes sense that she is going to start tutoring as her side hustle. She already knows how to be a teacher. Could she go and start an Airbnb arbitrage business or an Airbnb management business? Sure, 100% she could, but it's gonna take time, it's gonna take money to learn, okay? And how long is it gonna be before she actually sees a return on her investment? Is she actually gonna like it? You know, it would be different if she came to me and was like, Nicole, I'm a real estate agent. I understand short-term tenancy laws. I have connections with cleaners and handymen and all of these things. Different story. Okay, sure, you already know how to do it. But if you don't have the knowledge for it, and you have to get all of that knowledge, not that it can't be done, but guys, take the path of least resistance. We don't need to reinvent the wheel every single time, right? She's going to make great money. She's going to make great money right away by monetizing a skill that she already has. So stop thinking that for you to make more money, you need to start like this full-fledged other business. Stop thinking that for you to make more money, you need to do something crazy or do some of these like trendy side hustle things. Like, again, not that you can't do it, but if you're going to, you need to be ready to invest the time and the money into learning and getting yourself set up for success. And if you're not ready to do that, don't jump into it and have it be one of those like half-ass things where you're like, I didn't realize there was going to be this much work. Like, it's going to be work. It's going to be work. Okay. So go through and figure out what it is that you can do with the assets that you already have. And when I talk about physical assets, I mean like maybe you own like a big truck. Okay. Maybe you own a big truck. Could you move people on the weekend? Maybe you're strong and you own a big truck. Could you move people? Like, that's a really cool side hustle. That's an easy one. It doesn't need to be anything crazy to be successful. And what I will say too is that oh my God, I'm like typing things. What I will say too is that sometimes people think that you have to start like a full other business for you to make more money. Sometimes just negotiating your salary, sometimes just focusing on getting a promotion can actually just provide you with more money when we look at return on investment for the amount of hours of our life that we're actually training. Okay. So think about that. Don't think that you have to follow like a specific path. One more question. Okay, Ashley, how did you find out what stock was going to give you huge dividends? Okay, so many things to unpack here. There is a common misbelief that dividends are like the best way to invest. Okay, and there are actually so many different schools of thought on this, and I won't go into like too much detail with you guys right now. But essentially, some people will say that investing for dividends is great, right? If you need that stream of income, if you're like close to retirement, okay? Some people will say that certain companies that provide high dividends are stronger companies and blah, blah, whatever. Some people love it. Some people will say that dividend investing actually is not a good idea because when the company pays you out dividends, they're taking money that they have and they're giving it away. Therefore, the value of the company is less. They have less money. Therefore, technically, the stock price should be reflective of the fact that the company has less money, okay? So I don't want you going out, number one, I don't want you going out stock picking, okay? Because that is a good way to lose money. And number two, we shouldn't be focusing on dividend investing unless we actually need the dividends for income. So if you are close to retirement and you need that money, sure, then invest in, ETFs or index funds or something with companies that provide high dividends. Cool. But do I think that you should be stock picking companies that provide high dividends? No. And something that I will say too is please don't confuse a high dividend with a good company. Sometimes companies will pay very high dividends as a way to entice investors to buy their stocks when actually they're shit and the value is just going down. And I can't remember, is it T-Mobile that's been doing this or is it TELUS? I can't remember the name of the company. I'm having a like brain fog right now. But anyways, this company usually provides like a really high dividend, higher than average, but the value of their stock has slowly been going down. So if you invest in this company, yes, you're making a dividend, but you're actually just losing money because the stock price is going down. So just make sure that you are aware of all of those different kind of things, okay? I don't recommend investing specifically for dividends if you're in the growth phase. If you're in the growth phase, if you are like, hey, Nicole, I am looking to just, grow my retirement portfolio. I'm just getting started invested. I'm trying to build my wealth right now. You're not looking for dividends. You're looking for growth. You're looking for diversity, right? So indexed ETFs, those are typically what people in that kind of a situation would be looking for. Again, guys, I'm going to go now because I have other appointments and I'm starting to not be able to breathe because I am so sick. But thank you all for tuning in for this Mega Money Tuesday. This is going to be posted in our Facebook group and on Instagram, on our IGTV. So if you want to go back and watch anything or re-listen to anything or whatever, they will be there. If you have not yet, check out our freebies, our link in our bio. They are absolutely amazing. We have served over 80,000 students through our freebies this year. 80,000! So make sure, and if you are one of those students who has gone through and taken the freebie, but you did not take action, okay, whether that's working with me or just doing your own thing, go out there and take action, right? The first step is admitting that something needs to change. The second step is learning what you need to learn to make that change. And the third step is implementing those changes into your life. If you don't implement, you will not see any changes, okay? But you've all got this. Remember, it's not I can't, it's how can I. I'm proud of all of you for being here. Mwah, love you all. Have an amazing day. Bye, Facebook. Bye.